Hey, I'm looking through my homeowner's portfolio that was given by the builders, and I am a month away from my move, from when the truck actually comes to my house to take all my items to Dallas. And I was asked, how am I preparing at this point for my move? I think the question was referring to like my checklist, my system, and I kind of talked about that in a previous video. But you know what's really prepared me for this move is all my life experiences. And I think that's what's prepared us, all of us, for whatever we're going through now, is all the things we've experienced in our life has got us ready for what we're going to experience now. And I wrote a book. It was my second book. And I wrote this during the pandemic. It is called Make Your Mess Your Message. And in that book, I asked several women, what is the mess that became your message? And so many times we go through a lot of things where we're just trying to survive and reacting. We're just getting through them, that once we're on the other side, we don't take a moment to reflect back on how strong we were to get through that. So those experiences, I believe, are preparing us for what's next. And sometimes those experiences are things that we experienced years ago and they come up now. For me, it even starts to my childhood. I was raised as an only child, as you know. Many of you know I was adopted. But I used to pray every day for a sibling. My parents told me to pray every day. They didn't tell me that my adoptive mom had had a hysterectomy. And so either they really believed in prayer or they didn't want to tell me about the birds and the bees back then. But I used to pray for a sibling because I hated going to birthday parties by myself where all I knew was the birthday party girl or boy and not any of the other kids, or walking to any new situation where I'd seen people come in with their brother or sister and they always had an automatic friend there. And I didn't. And I was somewhat of a shy kid when I was little. So I used to pray that I'd have a brother or sister. But growing up as an only and learning how to navigate new situations, oftentimes as a kid where I'd walk into like a birthday party and it would be the birthday person's friends from school and I was the only one that didn't know another kid there. Those experiences actually have made it so now it's not a big deal to go into a new place and walk in and not know anybody. It's something I grew up with. So that's prepared me for moving to a new city. Another thing was when I turned 22, it's just like a few weeks after my 22nd birthday, I was in what still is my favorite car of all time. For those of you who are in my age group, you will recognize this car. It was the Honda CRX. It was my first two-seater sports car. It was red, also with a sunroof. I had never had a car with a sunroof before. Well, I was driving this two-seater car that didn't have an airbag in it, and a woman crossed the center line on a highway, and we hit head-on at a combined speed of over 100 miles per hour. Long story short, I was transported to Seattle's Harborview Medical Center, which is the Pacific Northwest Trauma One Hospital. And I was in really, really bad shape. Orthopedic injuries. I had broken the window with my face. The glass came in. I broke the steering wheel with my body. I had crushed my right ankle. My left leg was also broken. And I remember, I'd go in and out of consciousness. But I remember every time I came into conscious, when I was lying on the operating room table, I would say to the doctors or nurses, I would say something funny, or I would make light of something. Like they would tell me, what they were going to do next, and I'd say, well, good, I need the sleep, or they were saying, okay, we're going to have to do some stitches on your face, and I would ask, oh, can I look like Cindy Crawford? Or I would make some type of joke as we were going along every time I'd come in and have consciousness. And what I later learned is sometimes people, or a lot of people, when they're in that stressful situation, even though they might not be all there, they'll start swearing, or their default is to get to anger, or you cry, or whatever it is. And that's when I learned my default under stress, for better, for worse, and I think for better, is humor. So that's helping me get through all of this. And I'll show you some of this today where things are happening and, I like structure. I like good plans, but a lot of this stuff I can't plan for. And a lot of these things are taking a lot longer and costing a lot more than I expected. So when I can find humor in it, man, that just eases everything. So that's prepared me. And I consider that a gift from God, a gift from the universe to have gifted me with humor, to be able to see even life's worst things with a little bit of lightheartedness. What's the other thing that's prepared me? I know I was thinking about something else. My cancer journey. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I had cancer in my 40s. And what it did is it put things into perspective for me. It made me, no matter how much life throws my way or how much I lose materially or gain materially, what it comes down to is if I have my health, that's everything. And it also has made it, so that I try not to waste a day. I try not to waste a moment. I try not to waste an opportunity. And that served me well because I'm really looking at every day as this is exciting. This is a new adventure. And thankfully, I'm healthy so that I could be able to do this and live this and do all the things physically that's involved in moving, and also be mentally able to do this as well. So that's, cancer actually taught me how to live. Okay, so I'm going to take you next to show you why and how I chose Dallas. All right, but first of all, I'm going to go through this a little longer. There's a lot in here. So I'm asked quite a bit why I chose Dallas. And I'm going to break it down for you. I have this flip chart here. I haven't practiced, but I thought maybe that'll be more interesting than if I just was talking to you. So let's see how this goes. I'm not a person who can draw, so it might be all words, but I'll try. So I had 4 criteria for moving when choosing a city. So number 1, cost of living to buy a home. Well, let's see if I could draw a home. Okay, this is a house. Okay, that's a house. Just trust me, that's a house. Cost of living to buy a home. That was number 1. Seattle is a really expensive place to buy a house. So the cost of living to buy a home had to be less. Number 2, it had to be near a good airport. Okay, the city I was moving to how do you draw a plane? Hold on, let me try. Okay, it looks like a shark. Ooh, that's a big tail. Okay, trust me, this is an airplane. This is an airplane. It's a very fast shark airplane, but it had to be close to an airport. Number 3 is a good speaking community, a good supportive professional speaking community. And I belong to National Speakers Association, so I want a place where there was a chapter there. And I also plan to join Toastmasters and try that out. So that was a big one. And number 4, there had to be, so let me draw this here. These are stick figures. And in case you can't tell, well, this one doesn't have a neck. I really want a neck here because a neck is important. But these are men in their, let's say, 50s who are educated, professional, successful, funny, and have necks, and are available when I do start dating again. So that was my criteria. Easy, right? Well, I narrowed it down to 4 cities. Here are the cities. 1, Vegas, a suburb of Vegas like Summerlin or Henderson. I know a lot of people there. Number 2, Scottsdale, which is essentially Phoenix, Scottsdale. Although if you ask people in Scottsdale, they might not say that, but I will say it's basically Phoenix. 3 is Denver. My college roommate, Melissa, lives in Denver. Always have a good time in Denver. Also a good friend of mine, Connie's in Denver. And number 4 is Dallas. So let me tell you how I eliminated and ended up with Dallas. So Vegas was the first city I visited. And I was looking at one of their suburbs, but everything there just felt like a lot of excess. And I thought over time that would really wear on me. It just didn't sit well with me. So no to Vegas. Maybe I'll use this black pen to cross things out. So no to Vegas. That wasn't going to be a place for me. Scottsdale. So Scottsdale, especially Scottsdale versus parts of Phoenix, the cost of living to buy a home wasn't that much less than Seattle. But it still seemed a little bit more affordable. But the big kicker there were the men in my age group, 50s, 60s, they are dating women. I'm going to stereotype, bear with me. But rumor had it, a lot of them dated women who are in their 30s. Who wants to compete with that? Me. Okay, so no Scottsdale. The next one, Denver. Like I said, two of my besties live in Denver. I've always had a good time in Denver. And I'm going to sound a little desperate here because I'm not even trying to date, although I will talk about dating in a couple of weeks. But Denver, I thought, man, I'm not really outdoorsy. What's outdoorsy? Like somebody hiking on a trail? Here, this is me, and here's sweat. I'm not outdoorsy. Denver is a place where a lot of outdoorsy people go, especially outdoorsy men. And I thought, man, that would be so terrible if every time I'm asked out on a first date, it's to go hiking. So no Denver. Nope. So process of elimination sort of brought me to Dallas. And quite honestly, when I paid a visit to Dallas, it just felt good. I had never visited the city before, but it felt good. It kind of reminded me of the LA of the South. There's a lot to do there. There's a great speaking community. There's a good airport. Cost of living to buy a home is a lot less, though the insurance is a lot higher, but cost of living to buy a home is a lot less. And there are a lot of guys over in Dallas. So when I'm ready to start dating, that is not a bad place to be. Okay, there you go. Okay, when you're moving, you have to think of all the positives. And one of the supposed positives is I can declutter my life. I can just keep things that bring me joy, right? Am I supposed to hold something? Does this bring me joy and thank it? I actually haven't watched the show or read those books, but I get the gist of it. Does this bring me joy? If it doesn't, thank you so much for when you did, and bye. Kind of like you do when you break up with somebody. Anyway, I bought this book. It's called Minimalista, and just even looking at the pictures, if it's this woman's house, last name is Guild. So I bought this book, and pretty easy reading. Oh my goodness, look at that living room. No clutter whatsoever. So I'm trying that. As I pack up, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what do I really need and what don't I need? I decided I have 3 juicers I found, and I made juice with vegetables, maybe once in each juicer. So I've kept 1 so far, but we'll see if it makes it to Dallas. Anyway, I'm going to wish me luck as I go through this and try to be minimalista. Look what I found. I forgot that I even owned this. This is a face steamer. You plug it in and steam comes out and it opens up your pores so you can use all of your serums and everything else on your face. I bought this years ago when I stopped getting facials because I thought, I could do it at home, and I actually don't remember ever using this, but I'm sure I did because it's out of its package, right? It's out of the package. And, it has a little dust on it. Ooh. I wonder if that dust comes off with steam. I actually probably should wipe it down before I ever use it. But, this is such a great find. I'm sure I'll use it when I get to Dallas. I'm sure I will. So I am going to wrap this up and take it to Dallas. Remind me that I have this when I get there. Although, I guess it's really hot and steamy during the summer. So maybe I'll use this during the winters in Dallas. It's coming with me. So I found these toothpicks, and they're really, really cute. They have little cutout tops to them. I don't know if you can quite see that, but I use these to put together this one appetizer that I make. Well, I guess I make it every 2 years, but every time I make it, people love it. But I use these little toothpicks to put together. And I know this is probably one of those things that I should toss, right? But they're really cute. If I put in this box, I'm guessing I might not find them for another 10 years. But I also don't think I ever want to buy toothpicks again if I have to. I mean, I paid for these. right? I paid for them. These are coming to Dallas with me. I paid for them. I mean, come on. And they don't take up much room, right? So here's an example of how things don't always go the way they're planned, especially when you're planning like a big move. So I had this idea because, there's a reason why there aren't moving companies that are staffed with 5'2" Asian women. I mean, it's not easy, right? We're not built to move a lot of things like mattresses. So I had to buy these new mattresses for different size beds in this new home because the size of the home is different. And I just bought these kinds that were easy, that came in the boxes, and it was free shipping. So I decided at first to ship it to Dallas. But then I thought, what would happen if it was dropped off at my door and I had to somehow get these mattresses upstairs to the second floor by myself? So I thought, hey, these come in these boxes. I'll have it shipped to my place in Seattle and have the movers bring it. Then I know they will carry it up to the second floor. Perfect. Well, when they arrived, one of the boxes is supposed to be a full-size mattress, and it looks like a twin. I looked online, and the box size for the shipping is that of a twin, so I called customer service. They said that they've downsized their shipping boxes, but I should open up the box anyway. And they also said these mattresses aren't meant to stay in a box for as long as I was planning because it could ruin the foam. So here I am having to open this box, and we'll see what happens. And I actually, after I open it, I don't know if I'll be able to get it into back. Well, we'll figure that one out. So I should have worn shorts. Okay, let's see how this goes. I don't know if I'm on camera, but I don't know how I'm going to get it. The other one's a king size, so this is supposed to be a small. Well, I'm going off camera. It's great. So it comes in this little roll. I know you can't see it because my camera doesn't tilt, but it looks like it's blue, and it's just how kind of roll. Oh my gosh, when I start sweating here. You don't have to watch all of this, but this is just an example of how things don't always go as planned. Woo, it's getting hot out here. Okay, here I am sitting in the shade. After wrestling with that mattress, I actually did have to unroll the whole thing. I cut through the plastic and I saw the tag. It's the right size. I'm going to do a little bit more research to see if I do have to unroll it because I would love not to. I might take a gamble and actually leave it as is. It's just a few weeks extra and see if that'll be okay. But just goes to show you this day, things don't always go as planned. They usually don't, especially if you're dealing with something like a move or something pretty big. And it helps to be able to kind of just laugh, right? What's the worst that can happen? And like I said earlier today, everything in life that you've experienced has led you to here and has prepared you for what you're dealing with now. Like in my book, Make Your Mess Your Message, those messes have taught you more than you may even realize. Okay. If you are enjoying this, please like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to know all your moving tips. And I know one of them has to be get rid of those darn toothpicks. I know, I get that. I'm trying. Anyway, please follow along and come along on this journey with me. Let's do this together.